Good morning, Portland! What a gorgeous crowd. Now, how many of the girls had breakfast with me this morning? Raise your hands. Oh my gosh, okay, so we've got a lot of repeats here. So I'm gonna give you guys a real quick kind of overview of what we did this morning. I'm gonna stop and take pictures if you want. Actually, afterwards, we're gonna be taking pictures over here. I'm gonna be signing autographs and whatever you want. And I know we have, how many brides do we have? Let me see your hands. Wow. And how many of you have questions? No questions. You have all the answers? Anyway, I'm going to be taking questions during this. If you guys have any questions, raise your hand. I'm going to make it a little more brief than this morning's thing. But I just wanted to say thank you for being here. One of the questions I always get, first of all, is, how did you get into this? And, I was actually raised on a farm in southern Illinois. You too? What kind of farm? Yeah, we had cows too. We had a cattle farm in southern Illinois, 163 acres, 100 head of cattle, and I don't know what my parents were thinking when they had me on there. So as I was telling them this morning, I ran away 5 times to get off that farm, finally made it off when I was 16, became a hairdresser, makeup artist, and then saved up my money as a costume designer and entertainer and made it to New York City to study fashion. And became a bridal gown designer directly out of FIT, and have been in the business now for, gosh, since 1993. Is this too loud? Am I too close to the speakers? What am I doing wrong? Okay. So let me tell you guys, I've got a book coming out November 1st, and I actually wrote the book myself, and I have to say it is not your mother's wedding book. It is unlike any other bridal book out there, and I'm very, very proud of it because, number one, I've used no models in this book, only real brides in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, and from size 2 to size 24, and of all ethnicities, because I believe that all women are beautiful, especially on their wedding day. And we can all look at a model and say, oh, yeah, she looks great in the dress, but I want to see real women, right? Let's get to reality here. So who watches that little show? Say yes to the dress? Well, thank you so much. I actually didn't want to be on the show, to be quite honest. I had no desire to be on a reality TV show. That's not what I aspire to. Yeah, let me clean the stage here. My aspiration, my real dream is to be on Dancing with the Stars. So actually, somebody put up a Facebook account, Get Randy Fenoli on Dancing with the Stars, which, I don't know, there's only about a couple thousand people on there, so I need somebody to lift those numbers up. So you guys get on there and vote. But who is anybody on my Facebook account? I know there's a lot of people. Okay, and everybody's going to be on there tomorrow, right? With all the pictures we take, we're going to put those on my Facebook and to let them know that we were here in Portland, that Portland's a beautiful city, and that we are the Rose City, and great and beautiful. So anyway, I did not want to be on a reality TV show because I really don't like reality TV. I think most of it is staged and it's kind of prompted, and they kind of set up the situations. Well, I'm happy to say that absolutely none of ours is staged. We don't set things up. None of it is, scripted. I don't even get to meet the bride until she comes out. Am I in the wrong spot? Why is this reverberating? You gotta go further? Okay. It's a certain area where I can't stand. It's like, where the ghosts hang out, Poltergeist, right in that area of the stage. I can't stand there. Right here, I love you, baby. So actually, the very first day I started working at Kleinfeld, they were filming the very last day of the show. And I said, I don't want to be on this show. I don't really like reality TV shows. But I really think our show has a lot of good to it, and I think it's more documentary. So the way they got me on the show was they were filming one day, and there was a girl stepping in that was in a dress on a podium. She was very full-busted. She was very thick through the middle. She had a very full backside, and she was about 4'11", and she was in a very fitted pink and green mermaid that went out at the bottom. And the producer came up to me and said, Randy, did you see that girl in that dress? You cannot tell me that you're a good fashion director if you're going to let her walk out in that dress. I need you to go back in the stock room and pick out a dress for her. And I'm like, okay, you know. Well, so I come in the room, I open the door with these handful of dresses and say, I have some dresses here that I think might look good on you. Not knowing that this was the dress she had come in for and she was being measured in it already. Oh, yeah. And I still didn't even know this until the show aired. It was like the first episode of season 2, I believe. And let me just say that I did not sleep that night. I stayed up all night long crying. I was so upset because I would never devastate somebody on their dream dress because I think it's really about how you feel in the dress and not so much what I think. But anyway, so I crawled into work the next day, and I was hiding in my office, and this hand reached through and grabbed my arm and yanked me. And it was the mother of the bride, and she said, I want you to come take a look at my daughter because I know you're going to tell her the truth. And I will say that, you know, everyone out there is really going to sell you something. You know, everyone's trying to sell the bride something, and I don't sell anything to you. I don't sell you anything. I work for the bride. So you can trust me. I'm going to tell you the truth as best I can, you know, as eloquently as I can, as gently as I can. I'm going to try to lead you to the right dress as I see it. However, the most important thing about a wedding dress is how you feel in the dress. And clothes really do make you feel. And you want to feel beautiful on your wedding day. So I have a lot of girls sometimes that are torn between 2 dresses and say, what do I do? It's very simple. Which dress makes you feel the most beautiful? And I have girls say, well, they both make me feel beautiful. Well, which one tells your story? Because what you're doing at your wedding is you're telling a story about you and your fiancé. Who are you? What's your story? Where did you come from? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? You're telling your guests, this is who we are. I call it the brand. This is our brand, you know, and everything you do at the wedding speaks to your brand and who you are. The clothes kind of say this is our taste level, and it kind of sets up the wedding, you know, what's going to come. I'm going to move back here so I don't have my back to them. Let me go through the poltergeist here, see if it reverberates. There we go. Hear it? Okay, and then, you know, everything about the wedding, the food says, this is the food we would serve you if you were a guest in our home. And the music says, you know, this is the kind of music we like to dance and party to. So everything about the wedding should be reflective of the couple. So keep that in mind throughout the entire process of the wedding planning, okay? Now, the number 1 question I get from brides is, what gown looks best on my body, right? Who wants to know that? Everybody wants to know that. So I'm going to give you the answer. First of all, and I asked this before, does everybody know their body type? Are you a pear? Are you an apple? Are you a kiwi? Are you a watermelon? What are you? A what? Artichoke? Let me just say this, and I say it in my book, and I said it before early this morning, those shapes do not work. And do not let anyone compare you to a fruit. Take it from me. And the reason they don't work is because somebody will come in and they'll say, like, I have an hourglass shape, so I should only wear this, this, and this. Well, are you an hourglass and you're 4'11" and weigh, 90 pounds? Or are you an hourglass and you're 5'11", you weigh 350 pounds? Are you an hourglass that has a high waist or an hourglass with a low waist? Or do you have a long neck or do you have broad shoulders? I mean, it just doesn't work. So in my book, I kind of break it down by the body parts. So I kind of go through the body parts and tell you, if you have a long neck, then consider this. If you have long arms, why don't you consider this? If you have broad shoulders, consider this. So it really kind of guides you through some things to think about when trying on the dress. But number 1, you have to start with your story of you and the couple and what you're saying to your guests. And that's what it's all about. Because as soon as you say, I do, and turn around, you have just created a new family unit. And that's what the wedding is all about. It's about family. It's about love. So don't forget that. Now, do we have any specific questions? I'm going to take some specific questions, and then we're going to show some trends. Does anybody have any questions?